Hi everybody, my name is Stacey-Renee and I'm a transformational mindset shift coach. I've developed a program and I have a story that goes along with that program. It has become clear that y'all aren't interested in Keep It Simple Saturday. So in the program, I have a methodology of the Stonehenge where the ego and the soul come together with harmony. So I've created Story Time with Stacey on Facebook on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock. I'm almost through with that series though, and I thought that I would share that with you all, so that you can maybe relate to something that I say and it will help you along the way. Okay? So this is called the power of the pause for this story, because we live in a world where we say yes too quickly. Anybody do that too quickly? And then we agree to tasks, favors, and responsibilities without thinking. Then we wonder why we feel overwhelmed, drained, and unappreciated, right? So when we do this, we slip into this victim-villain cycle. We feel like a victim where we're tired, taken advantage of, and unseen. And then at the same time, we slip into becoming our own villain. You know, blaming, resenting, and repeating the same thing over, expecting different results. So here's the truth. Every thought and feeling we carry belongs to us. People will treat us the way that we allow them to. Without realizing it, we will just hand over our power, right? They make us feel a certain way. They don't make us. We're giving our power away. So when we pause before we answer, we create space. Space to reflect and consider our true motivations and to ask ourselves these questions. Am I saying yes from love or from fear? Is this choice aligned with my values, or am I avoiding rejection? What do I really want and why? So from that pause comes clarity. And from clarity comes boundaries, not made in anger or resentment, but set in love. Boundaries with ourselves and not shooting on ourselves. So not second guessing after the fact, but choosing intentionally. When we trust ourselves to pause and answer with reflection, self-esteem grows. Self-worth replaces self-sabotage. So even rejection takes on a new meaning. It's no longer a life sentence to doom, but simply an answer. Not every no we receive is a reflection of our value, and every boundary we set becomes a reflection of our value. So the pause is the doorway to courage, to self-trust, to inner freedom. When we pause, we see ourselves clearly, not through the lens of the ego and the soul, good or bad, but through the wholeness of simply being. Okay? So here's the story. This is called The Mirror and the Pause. Thank you for staying this long and listening. I hope that you're able to get something out of this. I love this story. Hope you do too. Let me know in the comments if you do. All right. Once upon a time in a kingdom where light and shadow lived side by side, there was a mirror unlike any other. This mirror did not just reflect faces. It reflected the heart. It had the power to show truth, but it also had a clever way of twisting what it showed. For those who came to it in desperation, it offered illusions, a fleeting image of being enough, and a false promise of love and a momentary escape. So the Queen of Shadows visited the mirror each morning. She was restless, forever searching for relief. She would say, "Mirror, mirror on the wall," she whispered through clenched teeth. "Tell me I'm beautiful. Tell me I'm worthy. Tell me I will not feel this ache." But the more she demanded, the more the mirror played tricks on her. One moment it showed her grander than life and untouchable, and the next smaller than dust and unlovable. She left each day feeling emptier than before. Then the Prince of Chains came by night. His longing was different, but just as deep. And he said, "Mirror, mirror," he pleaded, "tell me I'm loved. Tell me I matter. Tell me who I must be so they will never leave me." But the harder he begged, the more pieces of himself slipped away. The mirror reflected him in fragments, never whole, but always chasing. The Queen and the Prince both believed the mirror held their answers. What they didn't see was the trickery. By giving their power away and their approval, they were feeding the mirror's illusions. And only afterward, when the regret and shame arrived, did they ask, "Why did I do this again? Why did I betray myself?" That is how the cycle of self-loathing and self-sabotage kept them bound. Then one day a traveler came to the kingdom. He too felt the pull of the mirror. It called him like it had so many before. But something in him was weary of the game. He didn't rush forward, he didn't demand, and he didn't beg. Instead, he placed a hand on his heart, he breathed. He asked quietly, "What is true for me?" before stepping closer. At that pause, the trick was broken. The mirror cleared. For the first time, it showed a whole reflection, strong, imperfect, radiant enough. The traveler realized the mirror had no real power. It only magnified what he brought to it. If he came in desperation, it twisted his vision. But if he came in truth, it revealed him clearly. The traveler understood this. His freedom was not chasing the mirror's approval, but in consulting it before, not after. To pause and reflect. To set a boundary with himself before stepping into old patterns. Each boundary became a sword and a shield, not to fight the world, but to guard his inner kingdom. With every pause, he chose self-respect over relief. With every boundary, he gained self-esteem instead of self-loathing. Self-worth instead of self-sabotage. The Queen of Shadows and the Prince of Change watched in silence. Something stirred in them as they saw the traveler's reflection shine clear and unbroken. For the first time, they realized perhaps they too could pause, could choose, could be more than the mirror's trick. And so others began to pause as well. They learned to set gentle but firm boundaries, to answer in truth rather than fear, to see rejection not as doom but simply as an answer. Slowly, the kingdom began to change. Through the pause, through boundaries, through self-love, harmony was restored. No longer victims, no longer villains. The people became victors. They became victors of their own lives. The mirror remained, but it was no longer a master. It had become a faithful friend reflecting their wholeness back to them. And their story did not end happily ever after, but authentically ever after, where peace and balance replaced extremes and the kingdom flourished in harmony. So I hope that this video is helpful for you all and that you like this story, and that I will probably do these stories every Saturday if you like story time with Stacey. It's good at nighttime, so that's why I do it on Thursday nights on Facebook. But I just, at this time in life, people just want to be seen and heard, but sometimes people just don't know how. So that's what my program does. The Self-Trust Reset is it helps you how to see yourself and how to hear yourself and not dismiss your own thoughts, feelings, desires. You're worthy. So let's just take 3 deep breaths in for that pause. I usually do 5, y'all, but I'm trying to be mindful. I want to be done in 10 minutes here. So let's just breathe in our worthiness and our value. Fill up your tummy. And then hold the feeling of being worthy and valuable. So you've felt that way before. And then release gently out of your mouth, slowly, because we are gentle and slow with ourselves. We don't need to hurry this stuff up and get instant gratification. Breathe. Hold it. And release. One more. Breathe in. Hold it. And release. All right, darlings, we made it in 10 minutes. Pause with peace. Thank you. Have a great day.